We hate college. And so after a semester, we went to the Marine Corps recruiting office and we said, hey, we want to do law enforcement. What do you got for us?
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest, someone who I've actually stumbled across on social media because we're both together at EXP, I think roughly the same downline. And as social media goes, they just share content in front of you. And I started watching him, realized that I don't think we grew up too far apart in New York, which obviously already put some connection there. Fellow Marine veteran, also crushing in this business as much as possible, day in and day out. But yeah, man, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit about your story, a little bit about where you grew up and what brought you to the beginnings of getting started in this industry.
Yeah, man. So first things first, I appreciate you bringing me on here. I watch a lot of your stuff. You post a lot of stuff, and there's not many people as consistent as you are. So
I mean, you agree. It's just I think you're not consistent enough, dude. I'm like,
I know. We all feel that way. We all feel that way, but just wanted to acknowledge that though. But yeah, so Anthony Hamilton, I grew up in Rochester, New York, or the greater Rochester area, more the Finger Lakes. And you know, in high school, like it was funny because in high school, my twin brother and I, we were the kids in the hallway. We'd go to the store, we'd buy packs of Mountain Dew and, sodas. And then we'd stash them in our backpack, sell them for like $2.25 a can or something, because they weren't in the vending machines. We had no idea what entrepreneurship was. We had no idea really what business was. We didn't grow up in that type of atmosphere, right? So people quickly learned, like, hey, these are the dudes to go buy these Mountain Dews from. And so that's the first way we started kind of making a little bit of money. And it was like, it was maybe $10 a week or something like that. It was stupid money, and so then we always had a aspiration of law enforcement. And our parents were very like, hey, we didn't go to college, but you guys need to go to college. And so we said, well, we'll give it a shot, and we were trying to get into law enforcement, so we knew it would benefit us, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then we got a semester in and we were like, man, we fucking hate this. We hate college. And so after a semester, we went to the Marine Corps recruiting office and we said, hey, we want to do law enforcement. What do you got for us? And we went to them because they looked the best. They were actually there in the office. And they spoke to us well. They treated us like more than kind of just a number. And they were fit and they were smart and they actually like were doing the things that they preached. Right. Yep. So we went in there and then in 2013, ended up going to boot camp and, served 4 years out in Hawaii. During our time, my brother and I were texting back and forth. He was in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I was out in Hawaii, and we had started watching. Yeah, we had started watching Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and like all those guys, right? They started popping off big at that time. We're like, this is pretty dope. We like this business, like that you can kind of make as much money as you work for, right? And nobody's telling you necessarily what to do. And so we're like, that being said, we don't have degrees though. We don't really know much about business. So what's the lowest barrier of entry? Being financial assets, right? The lowest cost. And then also where can you make your money back the quickest? And you don't need any degrees or any other like knowledge. We came across real estate and we also knew it was a good long-term investment too. So it was something that we were just interested in right off the bat. And so we started studying for our test. We got with a buddy from back home while we were still active duty, who his broker had allowed us to get his MLS information. And we started just like scouring the MLS and we were doing some things and sending properties to friends back home and stuff. And,
started.
Yeah, right. And we were trying to document the journey a little bit, but we didn't know what that meant. And we were just trying to show people, hey, we're going to be getting out soon and we're going to be selling real estate. So like, trust us, and nobody did. But, we ended up getting out, getting our license at that point and then started working for a small brokerage called Weicker at the time. He was the
CHERT.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I got a lot of agents down here in Central Florida with them.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where we started. He was the first Weicker office in the area. It was just me, my brother, the broker, and our one other friend, and a very small team.
Yeah.
Quickly, though, we started using his connections with builders and developers to list new development, I guess, just developments. And so we each had about, what's that?
What year was this?
This was 2017.
Okay. Cool.
This was the spring of 2017 after we had gotten out of the Marine Corps. And it took us probably 3 months, and then we had 47 million listed in new build development. So we were like, we were on top of the world. And then we started seeing some shit going on. What's that?
So yeah, it's a huge amount for brand new.
Yeah, dude. And we started seeing some weird stuff going on with our broker. He started acting funny. He started just things were real fishy. We started getting comments out in town. Like my brother and I were walking through Walmart, and somebody had heard who we were working for, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll never do business with you guys because he's known for stealing money from people and whatever." Then we started kind of getting a gist of this through some of the clients we were working with. Like, hey, I just put up $30K for flooring. I'm being told by the flooring store that only $10K was bought. Where's the other $20K going? And so it was lining the pocket of the builder and the broker. And I understand margins, right? But the broker is not supposed to be getting that. And so we told him, you need to stop this shit now, or else we're all leaving. And so it kept going on. We all ended up leaving. He tried suing us. We laughed because we didn't have shit to sue for.
Why is that? Yeah, I have a story.
Yeah.
That's stupid. It's what the fuck are you going to take, dude? Maybe it's also the Marine mentality. It's dude, I'll do this shit, man. I don't know what you're going to do.
No, exactly. And, from there we went to KW, and our broker supported us through and through. She was great. She also knew the reputation of him. And then we decided we wanted to start our own team. And we came up, this was just barely pre-COVID. We came up with American Home Team, and, political tensions were getting, hotter, and the whole office, dude, was like, why would you name it that? You're going to turn off so many people. We're like, for having the word American Home Team, are you kidding me? And we're like, we're Americans. We live in this country. We're Marine Corps vets. We believe in America, and we're patriots through and through.
Yeah,
so
if you never left the country ever,
yes,
I think this place sucks.
Yes,
always.
Yes.
And I grew up not too far from where you were, so I already know the caliber that some people are. I know.
Yep. And so, so we're like, we're going to do it anyway. Our colors are going to be red, white, and blue, and that's it. And as soon as we did it, my brother, he's a little bit better with words than I am, actually curating an impactful type speech type thing. And so he made a video on what we stood for, and it was pretty good, and it caught a lot of traction, and we started getting people reaching out to us left and right. It's just not even just clients, but people saying we love what you're doing, and this is amazing. You're actually standing on your values. You're actually becoming who you are. And when we stepped into that, who we actually were, that's when things just took off. It's just, imagine that, right? You step into who you actually are, and things actually go well, right? Dude, people we just learned, people just want, they want to work with somebody who A is a person, B actually knows what they stand for, and they stand firmly for that. They don't have to agree with you, right? Whether it's political or whatever, but they want to know you stand for something, and that you're not going to cower at another agent across the table or something, right? And so people were just attracted to us, and then we started hitting social media more. The whole team thing at that brokerage it wasn't great. We had some other ideas for a satellite office and stuff. It just wasn't being accepted. So that's when we met Will and Eli, and we had known them for a year or two before that, but that's when they were like, hey guys, actually come out here. So they flew us out to Colorado. We stayed over at Will's house. And then we were with EXP at that time, we stayed at his house. They paid for our flights. It was like $2,000 or something like that for our flights. Yep. And then we went to an event, and then we went back and we went on their podcast. And, you know, getting back home, my brother and I were talking about it, and we we're like, man, this is collaborative. Like, everybody wants to put each other on. Everybody wants everyone to win. And it's sure is built, right? And so we made the leap. As soon as we made the leap, the regional director here of the former brokerage called and was like, hey, we'll fly you down to Mega Camp, all expenses paid. You can be our guest, and you'll just have to stay with KW. And we're like, nope. I mean, like, why are you coming on a recovery mission? You know, like, it's like, you should have just had a retainment mission going. So
I met Will and Eli in person too. I think it's about 2 years back. And like, they're good people. And it's hard, especially I think it sounds like we're in the same like caliber in terms of like our motivation. What's most Keller Williams people? What are they bringing to the table? You know? I mean,
no, dude, they offer nothing different of value. And I'm not going to say everybody, some people do, but it's the same shit, man. You see on Facebook and Instagram and whatever, it's the same things that they're rhyming off time and time again. Like, you see one agent post something and then you see 5 more post the same thing. Dude, you know,
I have so many people I've unfollowed because we all seen the same thing. Or even people in our own brokerage, right? They just like one name out and they always start sharing it. And it's just like, dude, what's the point? Like, none of you are, and that's like the biggest problem, you know?
You're the same as everybody else. And it's the whole marry the house, date the rate. Like, everybody is saying that, but they're offering nothing of substance, nothing of value. If I tell my clients, or if I just tell people in general, if your agent is saying that and that is their advice to you, you need to fire them right now.
Oh, dude,
because
absolutely.
There's no value in that, bro.
No,
so it's like,
clients come to me and I'm like, dude, in Orlando, I'm like, believe it or not, some resale homes, like, it makes more sense to rent because there's so much more rentals here that rent has dropped a little bit in some neighborhoods where I'm like, yeah, dude, you're right. It is short-term cheaper. My thing I tell clients is now I'm like I'm finishing a build now and I got this house, but I'm like, dude, they were like, I think we're going to sell. You know what I mean? Like, who wants that stress? It sucks.
Right.
That's my issue. It's never been even about the money. I tell a lot of clients, I think you deal with relocation too. A lot of times I just want to fucking own my place so I know that it's the stress of the move. I don't have to worry about someone being like, hey, we're not going to renew your lease. We're selling the fucking house. You know?
Right.
Like this,
right.
You know? But
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, that brings us to today. Well, when we met Will and Eli, we started getting into YouTube. This was about a year ago.
Okay. Is that about
just about a year
channel?
Yep. And so I have a channel and my brother has a channel because he lives down in Jacksonville now. Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Jacksonville. Dude, because you're twins, man. I see him like,
I know.
He lives down.
Yep. He lives down there. And so he's trying to get that thing grassroots going. It's been a challenge for him just because some areas aren't as receptive, you know?
I know.
And so for him, it's been a little bit slower, more rentals for him. But he's still only on month 6 or 7 or something like that. Or maybe 5 or 6, but it's still relatively early in the game for his channel. And so now he's having his wife help him out with it. I think that's adding a different aspect to the channel. It's making it a little bit better.
My wife doesn't like to be on camera.
I know. And his wife doesn't either, but she's sucking it up and I think it's making things better. But my channel, it's grown pretty rapidly. I'm getting it seems like every time I post a new video, which I tried now to do once a week, it seems like I'm getting.
I moved to once a week.
Yeah, dude. We started at 2 a week, and it was hard.
Dude,
it's hard,
grind, man. Especially if you start getting clients going and stuff like that. You're like, dude. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll just hire an agent to do the video side." And because they're just not going to.
Yeah,
do it.
I'll make it. No, man, and I look at our area here is very like conservative when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like nobody really is on YouTube now.
Well, I'll be honest. I think one issue I found is like a lot of agents like there's like that one old agent. I think I heard you on Will and Eli, the baggy suit. On their podcast, and it's so true, dude. I mean, I can Susan, like Coco, whatever her name is, like in Western and Wyoming County. That's just who everyone goes to. Like it's so slow moving. Is that something you ran into with your business, trying to be more innovative? It's just like that old roots that just seem to hold in.
Yeah. So right now it's turning into who has the most money. And so whoever has the, what's that?
In what way? In terms of ads, in terms of branding?
Yeah. So it's what agents or teams has the most money to pay for Zillow, and just to buy all the zip codes, right? We have teams who buy literally the whole zip code so nobody else can get in there. And they're the ones getting the VIP jets to Zillow headquarters and stuff. And, they're getting probably 400 leads a month from them. Half of them might be decent and half of them are shit,
First year, an ISA for my first broker on San Diego and California zip codes, and most of them don't convert. Some zip codes are better maybe, but I don't know.
And the problem with a business model like that is that it's not sustainable. Like, in Arizona, I think it is, in Phoenix, Zillow stopped doing the premier agent out there. And so when they stop giving you the leads, when they stop sending leads, what are you going to do? When you've built your whole business on Zillow leads, like, you're shit out of luck now. now you can't buy any more zip codes. Now nobody's going to, your phone's not going to be ringing anymore, And not only that, but those ones, all of those Zillow clients that they have, they're not building relationships with them. It's strictly transaction. And so
to me, it's kind of like if you cold call for sale by owners, so it works, but they don't tend to really be repeat clients. It's
right.
One transaction and they move on.
Yep. Yeah. There's no relationship built. In my brother and I, we pride ourselves in actually building a relationship. Yep. And the caveat to that is that sometimes it may limit the amount of transactions you can actually do at one time because you may get overextended, right? But once you increase your capacity, then you can start doing 10 buyers at a time or something. And these things work out fine. It's once you become friends or at least friendly with everybody, all of your clients, they all understand and they all know, like they don't want to like bug you over silly things, and we tell them, you're not bugging us. It's our job. But like, it's just,
if something from, hey, get me in this house real quick to, hey, just so you know, like the way my life works, I'm either with clients or with my kids. It's like that switch. What's funny is I think once I took that stand, clients just became better. Got better clients.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey man, I'm with my kids right now. It's 6 at night. Like I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Dude, it becomes so much more fun. Business is so much more enjoyable that way. And it's so much more sustainable. You can actually, there's real longevity in something like that where it's, hey, we'll get back to you. But letting them know, like, while you're a priority for me, you're not the first priority. But if there's like a priority 1 and then 1A, then 1B, 1C type thing, like you're probably going to be a 1A or a 1B, so you're still priority 1, but like you're after my family and kids. And once people realize that, then, they start to actually acknowledge and accept that, and they're respectful of that. And it allows you to have a lot more fun as an agent. So many people, their schedules are dictated by their clients, dude, and they're running themselves ragged. It's crazy.
No, I think a lot of agents still have the systems and processes in place because once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, I got enough to start. Like, how do I get some of my time back? I think it's definitely one of the harder positions to do that because our industry is how it is. How big's your team now? Is it still just you doing most of them? Do you have a couple agents helping you out? How's your structure look for that?
Yeah, so it's me doing basically all of it, at least here. My brother's down in North Carolina doing his side. We both have a TC that works for us. But then we have...
Or is she like independent?
Well, so before EXP cut their TC program, they laid off a bunch of people. She was one of them. That's how we got connected with her. But then she's one that got laid off, and we just picked her up for ourselves. Basically, we pay her $250 per transaction, and she does a great job. She's
pretty good price too. Do you have like how many deals are you closing a month?
Well, so this,
average.
So this year, this month, it's going to be 8. 8 deals. So
we're able to negotiate, because honestly, most markets, I mean, more expensive markets, so TCs are average about 400 a transaction.
Yeah, and that's what we saw. And so
it can be like 300, 350, but
yep, that's what we saw. And when she's like, yeah, I'll do it $250 a transaction, for my brother and I'm like, that's baller. Let's do it. Awesome. And so, dude, it's a game changer. Any paperwork, like, I'll be honest with you, when I sit down with my clients to like have an offer written up, I'll just write the offer, but then all the extra addendums and stuff, anything that happens throughout the process, she does. I don't have to respond to emails.
Day one.
Yeah.
I knew my weakness, and it's not paper.
Mm-hmm. But see, there's a lot of other brokerages that don't really teach you that. It's just, hey, go learn shit on your own and fend for yourself. And, it's just, it's, you're kind of shit out of luck with that. So meeting Will and Eli, they were like, hey, like, yeah, you'll spend $250 a transaction, but what does that matter when you're making 10 grand? You'll shit out $250. It doesn't matter,
Maybe you're the same for me. Like, you really only have a couple major points. Like, once a deal is in contract, other than whatever's wrong with the home and guiding your client through that process, like, dude, how nice is it, especially with the XP, like, you just have SkySlope checklist.
Yeah.
TC that manages to make sure, hey, we got everything, keeps you on top of the timeline. So, dude, how much stress does that take off your shoulders?
Oh, man. It's huge.
Like, huge.
Literally don't have to worry about anything during the transaction. Like, nothing. It's so I can actually be out there doing what I do, whether it's making content or actually being with my clients. Right. I can do that and being fully present, not wondering, hey, am I going to miss a deadline here?
Yeah.
So it's a huge game changer, and for $250 a month, you can't, or a transaction, you can't beat it, dude.
It's such a good price. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we can get you in touch with her, man. If you want her, man, she'll be happy to help.
I didn't even care if it's a little bit more, because I think you guys are closing a little more than I am. While my partner's in deployment, we're heavy with throws out in Jacksonville, Florida. But
yeah,
absolutely, man. Also, my last TC was on the West Coast, and
okay,
it's those hour differences are just a little annoying. I got VAs, one thing, but it's just TCs. I just that time difference really hits hard. So,
yep.
I'm up for it after this, dude. Absolutely, put me in touch. Especially if she got laid off, let's blow her up, get her some more business.
Yeah, dude. No, I think she picked up another like part-time job, but she's got plenty of time to do this, and she's like,
through that, dude. Let's get her.
Like, let's do more. Let's do more. And so, like, hell yeah,
100% guarantee you, she doesn't want to be doing the part-time job.
No, fuck no. Nope.
No, dude.
Nope.
That's why I tell people, hey, nothing wrong with a part-time job to get things through, but you gotta keep, like, I think, what's the book I'm reading right now by Patrick Bet-David? It's like the next 5 moves.
Yep.
And the reality is you gotta stay ahead 5 moves. Like, what's the goal here? Like, move 1 might be to afford your living, but you got what's the next couple? Like, what are you doing to get to that next step?
Yeah, man. So going back on that, that's when we were first getting in the business. Like, we had plenty of things. That first brokerage we were at, he was encouraging us, like, hey, put this on credit cards, right? Like, I know you can't afford to live, but you got credit cards, right? So put it on credit cards. And you know how it is. Navy Federal, they'll give a service member $15,000 limit. Like, they don't care, dude. And so and as a dumb PFC, you sign up for that. So we were putting everything on credit. And that first year I racked up $20K in debt, dude. And so I had no choice but to pick up other jobs. And so, at one time I went and worked for L3 Harris. That was for about a year. And I worked like the early shift so that I could get out at 2 or 3 and then
work when everyone else got off.
Yep. And then after got to a point where, well, I didn't get hired on for a full-time position because they had an ESG quota they had to meet. So they needed a an African American female, and I did not fit that criteria. so so she got hired and I didn't. But all was good. It worked out. And then after that, I went to our local FedEx like shipping thing, and I would work 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. during the holiday season, loading and unloading trucks. Yep. And that way I got out at 8 a.m. and I could work the whole day in real estate. And that was my plan. Like I was grinding from 2 a.m. to whatever. And I bought some smelling salts just because driving in my car, if I was falling asleep by noon or something, I'd just like quickly inhale the ammonia. It'd keep me awake, But
you ever feel when you got in this industry, how, and maybe it's just me, but like coming from the Marine Corps, obviously we all see veterans who get out and just forget everything that they did for 4 years. And there's some good things. Like I know there's a lot bad, but a lot of good things.
Yep.
And pushing through in that perseverance.
Yep.
You feel weird sometimes. Like sometimes I hear people in the industry like, I'd be like willing to work, and I'm like, I think my problem is I work too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has to remind me like, hey, like you got to
take a second.
And I'm like, right.
Yep.
I'm like, right. It has to be. It actually has to be a priority because it's just I live and die by my calendar now. I've been doing that for half now. So I'm like, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You ever see that getting in the industry where people are like, you just got to work, and you're like, dude, I don't think I can. Like I can always work harder, but like,
Yeah. That was, and we subscribed to that. Like we, that was us for a long time, probably a couple years when we first got in the business, because we didn't have business. So we're like, how the hell are we going to get it? And it's like, well, work more, where
did your beginning leads come from?
What's that?
So while you were working, trying to get your business off the ground, what lead sources were you trying to push hard? And
referrals. Or well, not referrals, but sphere of influence, like in getting, referrals from them. That was really it. And we were doing, I tell this story. We started doing video content and stuff, but we weren't like, it wasn't good stuff. It was just before everybody else was doing it in our area. We'd be walking down the street door knocking, and we'd record a video, and like I would be like staggered in front of my brother. He'd be behind me, and I'd like record something, and then I'd throw it back over my head, and he would catch it, and he'd start recording. So like that was our transition basically. And man, people were loving it though, and it was more so like motivational content. Like we were just giving like tips and tricks that we were learning and stuff, but we got a couple clients through something like that, but it wasn't good enough to actually capture people. And so a lot of it was either a broker handed deal, or it was just a family or friend or something like that. And so, but there wasn't many of them. It took a while for us to even sell $1 million in a year.
Neither of you are working jobs right now, are you?
No, nope.
When did it finally hit what was your point of impact where you were like, I think we can walk away from these jobs and keep pushing harder? When was that point? And like what made you like, wow, I think we're actually starting to gain traction?
Yeah. So, in 2021, my wife and I, so my wife was an RN. And so she had supported the house for a while, and dude, let me tell you, as a man, like I hated that. I hated it so much. And then she got pregnant, and this was like during COVID, and maybe something that your listeners don't really care to listen to, but I don't know, maybe down in Florida, you guys don't give a shit, but up here at her hospital that she was working at, they were mandating the vaccine.
Most people have moved to Florida because they don't subscribe to that stuff. Actually, we homeschool our kids, and
we're going to as well.
Dude, the community for homeschooling is fucking massive.
Yeah, I know. It's growing.
People from Canada and all other places.
Yep.
It could just be the sphere that we're pushing ourselves into. But there's a lot of people down here who are like, no, dude, never did it.
Yep. Well, and so we had owned a house at that time on her income, and I was making a little bit, working a couple different jobs, the FedEx job and then the L3 Harris job too. And we were living. We flipped that house. We used I think it was called the Freddie Choice program. It was basically a 203K conventional product though. So we got in 3.5% down, and We bought it for $100K. We did a $70K renovation, sold it for $280 a year later. And so it was pretty legit. But when we were there, she was pregnant and she was at the hospital, and she came back. She's like, yeah, they're going to be forcing the vaccine. And we came to a conclusion as a couple saying, you're not getting it. And so long story short, we found a way to get her out of work and get her all of her benefits through her maternity leave and everything without her having to get it. And then that gave me enough time basically to, in my head, make it click. I had to manufacture something in my head to say there's no choice, because at the end of this maternity leave, she's getting out of work. I'm going to be the only guy doing something. And so I had to provide at that point. And that's when things started taking off.
What your business that started to have it take off, do you think?
I think more focused effort. So that was like when we had started talking to Will and Eli. So
you think it's like the perfect storm then?
Yeah, it was a lot of things just kind of culminating at once. And it just things started working out. And I had the mentality I didn't have a choice. And so I had to start focusing my effort like more intentionally on the things that were going to start getting me clients and stuff. And things just, I can't put my finger on like one thing that was bringing clients, but they started coming. And it was a game changer. And so then, since then, she's been out of work, and we picked up, my brother and I started a cleaning business. Let's see, what was it? A year and a half ago. No, it was a year ago. And, when he moved away, my wife and I took it over. And so we have that, we have a couple contracts. It makes us, almost six figures a year, in basically not having to do any of it, hardly. I work in that maybe 6 hours a week. And so it's pretty legit. And so now, like, having that freedom, the financial freedom to say, like, even if I don't sell something in a month, we're going to be okay. It alleviates so much pressure off you that, whereas I thought I had to get into a super dark place to really be productive and like grind, I had no choice. Now it's like, I don't have any pressure on me, because I know we're supported over here, and now I'm free to do whatever I want to do,
Which actually preps you probably for this weird turn in the market that
yep.
we've been experiencing.
Well, I mean, dude, the turn in the market. Yeah, we haven't had a turn in the market. Like, up here, there's still no seller concessions. There's still
decrease in transactions. I don't know how your transaction volume is.
Oh,
even here in Florida, it's been we're getting a little bit better now.
Yep.
But we took a hit there for sure.
Overall, the overall market, there's a decrease in volume, right? But my personal production has,
because every area is so different.
Yeah. My personal production has gone up probably tenfold. So
I doubled this year, and that's why somebody, dude, it's just, I made six figures, like low figures.
Yep.
I'm not like crazy successful, but yeah, I know. Somebody's like, we're struggling. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I think maybe I'm just a marine in me. I'm too stupid to realize sometimes that I just keep doing.
That's, I understand. Yeah. Like, a big part of me understands, like, okay, yes, you do need to look at your numbers in the business. You need to look at the overall market, sure, whatever. Right. But it's like that, like, I'm too stupid to give a fuck. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's ignorance or what it is, but I'm a firm believer. If I refuse to believe that that's going to dictate how I'm running my business, like, then it's not. And I can actually do what everyone else is not doing. So, while everyone else's business is going down, mine's going up. And I just simply, I don't believe that mine will go down, and I don't know, it's been working so far, man. So I think, getting into this business, it's easy to lose faith in, what you're doing, the efforts that you're putting in. And a lot of new agents, man, they go 6 months and they're like, well, I feel like I should have a deal by now. And it's like, I get it, but that's not really how these things work. Like,
Yeah, I mean, especially with how things are now. About how like you still have the size. Because I never I think Will said this too to me once, but it's like I never you never want extremes in either direction. And some are like
right.
burn the ships. I don't know if I fully subscribe to that, especially with a family. If you're single and can sleep on a couch, dude, have at it, man.
Yep.
But I think you understand that having a family, so how do you feel about, let's say someone wants to get into the industry now, what's something you would kind of tell them just with the experience you have?
I would tell them if they're working a job right now, like they need to get very intentional about the time they spend out of that job. Once they get home or wake up earlier in the morning, whatever you got to do, like, I'm not saying I'm not saying don't get your sleep, because sleep's important, but what I am saying is like the hours you have off in between the time you wake up and go to sleep or get back from your 9 to 5 and go to sleep, they need to be intentional. Don't disregard your family if you have a family, because you need to spend time with them, but you need to come to the conclusion and the agreement with your spouse and your family that, hey, dad, or hey, I'm going to be working a little bit more after hours, or kids go down and then that's when you grind, right? You put the kids down and you and your wife, you're still on the couch watching TV or whatever. You take out the laptop and you start doing focused work. And so I would say, let that job float you, support you financially while you're getting this thing off the ground. Then you need to come to a conclusion on, or a decision on, how many clients it's going to take you to actually be able to leave your 9 to 5. So once you get, say 15 clients, or once you have, say 4 or 5 transactions under contract, then you can leave your job or something, whatever those numbers work out for you and your family. But I'm not the type, like you said, to burn the bridges. But definitely use those bridges to, lead you towards where you're trying to go, and leverage that. Like, you have a source of income coming in, your 9 to 5, right? So use that in floating you on this new journey, but you need to be intentional and you need to be focused, and you need to, like, you live by a calendar, and, living by the calendar is the only way that you're going to find the time to actually do shit that you need to do. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at the end of the day and be like, where the hell did my time go? And you didn't realize that you had 30 minutes there, you had 40 minutes there, you had 15 minutes there. And, it's just, you wasted it. What'd you do? You were scrolling on your phone while taking a shit, it's just, you're wasting so much time there. Right. So being intentional with your time and using that capital to keep you afloat, while you're pursuing in your off hours that dream of yours or that goal or whatever. I think that's the biggest thing they need to do.
Really just being intentional then. Honestly.
Yep.
Like knowing what you want, how you want to get there,
Yep.
I mean, obviously it sounds like you've kind of created, you and your brother have kind of created your own vision of like, what do I want out of this industry?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, I know that a lot of people in this industry, right now are like, if the ones that are still in are like, I think I need to switch brokerages. What's your opinion on, like, if someone is concerned about switching brokerages, what's some things they need to think about? And this can be even people leaving EXP, right? Coming, going. Mm-hmm. I think every agent we talk to is trying to move, hoping for greener grass on the other side.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think you need to get around people that support your vision, and are doing the shit that you want to do. Otherwise it's going to be miserable. Otherwise it's not going to be collaborative. Like, so something that really kind of dawned on me is, after we had been with EXP for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 months, the old growth leader from the market center that we used to work at. And anyone listening to this, I'm not throwing shade on anybody or any brokerage or anything, but just our experiences. We went out she invited us out to breakfast. She just wanted to chat. Right. And, so we went and we talked. We liked her. She's a great person. And while we were at breakfast, I forgot to mention this. So afterward, I was in the car driving and I called her back and I'm like, hey, one thing like you guys should implement at at the market center is that if somebody sponsors someone else coming into the company, they need to actually mentor, and they actually need to like help them getting into this business and into the brokerage, and like, hold their hand if they want to, like similar to what EXP does, right? Join Will and Eli and they're there for their whole downline,
Yep.
And same with all these other guys like Mike Sherrard and all these other big names, Kenny, and everybody, like they're there. That is your retainment mission.
Right.
You're retaining them because you have direct incentive to actually add value to these people's careers and their lives. And if you're not doing that, then somebody's just, they're lost. They're on their own and they're forced to figure it out themselves. And she's just like, just we don't want a sponsor to have to worry about doing anything like that. We want them to tap into the classes we have in the market center and, go that route. And I'm like, they're getting the same education that everyone else is getting. There's nothing different about it. You're telling them to go down the same broke path that everyone else is going down. Like, you're leading these guys to failure, and there's no incentive to help anybody. And so in turn, they keep their secrets. They don't help other agents. They don't spend time with other agents because they're acting like their time is worth $1 million. And it's like, man, you're just hurting yourself. And then go figure, everybody starts leaving their brokerage in big numbers. And it's like, yeah, no shit. So, I would say get around people who want to support and collaborate and help you and add value to you basically without charge, Yeah. Again, at that same brokerage, my brother had a buyer who was going to buy a mixed use, like commercial residential property. It was like a Airbnb type property. And it was like $1.5 million. And he had never sold. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he had never sold one of them before. And so he went to our broker. Our broker said, talk to the commercial guys. There's like 3 big commercial guys in that brokerage. Yep. He calls 2 of them and they said, either you give me the deal, the buyer, and I'll pay you a referral fee, or if I give you this information, you give me 50% of the transaction. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, like not even a shot. And so he called somebody else outside of the brokerage that we had known personally who does all sorts of different transactions. And within 5 minutes, the answer is done and they're off the phone. And he's like, that's literally all it took. Like your information, I get you've been in the business 10 years doing commercial work for 10 years. There's value to that, but you don't need to charge for every single thing, especially 50% of the transaction or the whole transaction, and just pay out a referral fee. Like, It's insane. And then, right now, if we have any questions on anything, higher value properties, call Will and Eli and they're answering immediately. Yep. And, it's like, there's real value add. So I'd say get around people who actually give a fuck. Like,
well, because the broker's there for like, legal stuff, making sure transactions are legal and stuff like that. But I always tell everyone, dude, you got to be meeting more people and having, because I'll be honest, like, look, even heading towards probably my broker license next year, it's just like, brokers are great, but when they're the broker for your brokerage, like their job is just make sure transactions and everyone stays compliant. When it comes to like, on the ground, like experience, like sometimes it just helps. You got to have the upline and the people that are like, look, dude, I went through a couple of these. Here's who I talked to. You're like, what, dude? I'm directly under Jesse, and I'll call him before, and it's like, you know what? I don't fucking know, dude, but I know someone who is big in your market who I can get in touch with.
And dude, that's what's amazing too, is like in our upline, right? Because having Will and Eli, they're a wealth of knowledge too, especially when it comes to the social media stuff and like YouTube and whatnot. But then Jesse and Jackson, we got access to them too. When we were out in Colorado, we went out to dinner with Jesse and Jackson, and we had one of our buddies that we knew from KW. He went out there with us, and he wasn't with EXP. He didn't really have a plan of like joining EXP, but Jesse and Jackson took him in, and like they were cool as shit to him. And they're like, dude, we don't care if you're with us, under us. Like, we just want you to know the things that we know. Like, we want you to have a business, and do well. And man, like, everyone's so willing to help. And so, like, I would say, you need to find those people, and it's going to be out of your local market too, and
It always is, honestly.
in fact, I think that's necessary. Like, you need to. And then that leads into building a referral business too.
Yep.
Then you can start marketing to people out of your area via YouTube or social media or whatever, or just connections from the military. And, now you can start making money by sending somebody to you down in Orlando, or to Jesse or Jackson in Texas or whatever, so it's like, it's a game changer when you do that. You just tap into the right network. So if it is EXP, make sure you have the right upline. And ours, I would say, is one of the couple that are the right places to go.
Oh, dude, easily. I mean, you probably go to the same as mine, like Chuck Fazio, or have like the biggest kind of brokerage in terms of transaction volume in the country.
Yep.
Underneath us, like all these people that are there. Yeah, man, I completely agree. But I know we're hitting that time for me to be off my day as well. What are some final thoughts you can give to someone who's maybe like struggling a little bit right now, maybe in some mental side that you think is helping you just keep going, and then finish it off with how people can get a hold of you? Because I'm sure someone might listen to this and go, dude, that's exactly what I fucking need right now. And especially with that.
Yeah. So for anybody struggling out there looking to kick their business off, man, I would just say, like, again, like what I just said, tap into the right sphere, the right group of people. But then also, you need to stay positive. This is a long game business. Don't be focused on the transaction. Be focused on being intentional with every transaction, I would say. So it's not just a money game, right? The money follows doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is always going to be the right thing. It doesn't matter. And once you step into who you actually are genuinely, like your personality, the things you believe in, the things you value, no matter how maybe divisive the political atmosphere in the world is right now, or whatever your beliefs are, dude, someone's going to get offended by everything, but there's going to be people attracted to you. So you need to just step into who you are, step into the right group of people, and just like work as much as you can that is intentional and focused, and be smart with your money. Don't be spending a bunch of things on credit. Don't be spending your last dollar. Like, be smart, right? Be smart. And then I would also say step into video. Like, just watch guys like you, Cam, and myself, and Will and Eli and Jesse and Jackson and these guys. Like, watch other content creators in real estate and see how they're doing it, and literally rip off and duplicate. That is, I think, the easiest way. I say social media is the great equalizer between new agents and old agents, right? If you want to be on their level, be more seen than they are. And you do that through social media. How long would it take you to knock on 1,000 doors?
No, dude, forever.
Probably a full year, right?
Yeah.
How long would it take you to get in front of 1,000 eyeballs on video? Could be an hour.
Could be an hour.
Like, yeah, it's
performing video, I think, is encroaching in 9,000 views so far.
Yeah, dude, like, you can get 1,000 eyeballs on an Instagram reel pretty quickly, right? If it's good, valuable information, or if it's a little bit funny or something like that, then, or something that people care about, you can get 1,000 eyeballs. And so I always say that, how long would it take you to make 1,000 phone calls and 1,000 doors, right? So social media is the great equalizer there between new agents and old agents. So those things, man, I think that's it. And anybody who, wants to find me on social media, it's The Real Anthony Hamilton. There may be a profile that pops up who is a darker complexion than me, and probably has a blue check mark and has an R&B singer label next to him. That's not me. That's not me. So I'm The Real Anthony Hamilton. And yeah, that's really where you can find me, and reach out, DM if you have any questions or anything like that.
Awesome, brother. Well, appreciate you coming on. I think this has been an amazing story. Hey, for everyone watching, dude, he has some real shit to pass on to you. And I know who he's a part of at EXP. So if you're looking to make a switch or just to get advice, I think he's awesome there. Maybe if you're in his market or his brothers, you reach out, he has something.
Yeah.
As always, down in the description, I'll always link at least one of your profiles, people to reach out to. Also got free courses as I randomly find time. Right now, it's just how to hire your own VA. But I don't know. I just get bored sometimes and like to give out free shit because it's fun, dude. People have been taking it and they love it. So I'm like, it must have
been value add.
Yeah, must have been some kind of value. But yeah, you can always find that in the description, guys. And as always, hey, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, leave me a review, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.